Hello and welcome along to A View from Section C, episode 27. We're still here after 27 episodes and we're continuing with our player interviews over the summer. Senior is absolutely buzzing for this one. He has been tweeting about it all last season and throughout the summer.
Yeah, people said I would not be able to pull this off, and I have pulled this off.
So Senior has managed to bring through a UK hockey legend already, still playing. GB team, very high level, played in the top division the last 3 years.
I've got some stats.
You've got some stats.
I've got stats.
Wow. Okay, we're back in Senior Stato corner.
Yeah, and this is elite prospects. Now, I hope the guest doesn't come on and actually put me in my place with this, but it's elite prospects. So, EIHL regular season games played 553, 248 goals, 252 assists for 500 points.
That's unreal. And that's
GB games
only.
That's regular season games only. GB, 79 games played, 26 goals, 25 assists, 51 points. It's absolutely ridiculous. And when we introduce them, there is a link, and you know the link we're speaking about.
I know the link that we're speaking about.
You know the link. We spoke about that earlier on.
You've only just found out this link.
It's an age thing. I've probably forgot.
But what we'll say is, Dowdy's, I would say he's maybe not as good as this link. Because I think this link had a better goal scoring touch than him.
Oh, maybe.
I think so. But our guest is none other than Mr. Robert Dowd.
Hey boys, that was
Dowdy, how you doing?
Some introduction. That
I don't get that everywhere you go.
No, I turn up every week and just try and whack it like everyone else, and I've just been doing it a long time. That's all.
Yeah.
So
I went
all.
stats.
We need to introduce this link. Sorry, we need to introduce the link first. So, Senior, I'll let you take it. Seeing as it's your
right.
Well, what is it? It's the golden boy in Sheffield, isn't it?
It's the golden boy, the golden child of Sheffield.
Yeah, right? The golden child of Sheffield.
And I'm going to say, Robert, that your goal scoring feat, right? I think you've maybe followed in someone's footsteps with your goal scoring and assist feat, right?
Go on then.
He played for the Stars in 2001 to 2002. He played 44 games.
Yeah.
0 goals, 3 assists.
How many fights though?
I never went penalty match.
There was a few, but I don't think there was that many, because I think that was towards the end.
There was a few.
Us diehard Stars fans will now reveal and know this, that Robert's older brother is Gary Dowd, that once played a season with the Stars. The Stars' very first season in the British National League.
When Tony Hand was the player coach, you had Paddy Lockie, Tony Hand. I think you had the Flying Scotsman that year. Like I lived and breathed it. That's why obviously I got into the game. My 2 older brothers both played professional hockey, and my old man had us quite far apart. So I grew up, I kind of got dragged around the rinks when I was just a bairn, watching them 2 both played professional. And I actually drove Gary up with my old man to drop him off for the first day of Dundee camp.
You should have stayed. You should have stayed.
No, that was because he's always said he loved it there. He had a great time in Dundee.
Yeah,
and
he was a character. Certainly was. Gary was a character.
He was.
I'm still friends with him on Facebook, and when you sometimes see the old photographs, as you say, Tony was there.
What a team you had that year, by the way. You won everything. You absolutely crushed everybody. Obviously, I followed it. I was the biggest fan because obviously my older brother was on there. But you dominated that year. What a team you had, though.
Gary's at the back. You've got Scott Young, Jan McKell. You've got Murph in the goal.
Murph was a proper Bairn, wasn't he? He was a Bairn in the net.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah, what a team that was.
Yeah. So
Yeah, that was
reminiscing
my
then, Robert.
first. That was my first
when you
professional
first went in.
team watching.
Was it?
You know, before that it was all recce hockey.
Aye.
But yeah, I would have been 10 watching
10?
that. So,
I can't even think.
Yeah.
Can't think
but
how
yeah,
old
that's
I
gone
was.
back. What, you're 35 now?
34. Ouch.
34.
Ouch.
Sorry, mate. Elite Prospects, I think, it's got
Hey, that year's a
35.
big
So,
difference. That year's a big difference.
so yeah, there's 3 years difference between you and I. So yeah,
Aye.
be about
Yeah.
13.
Was me 12, 13, eh?
Yeah,
Crazy. So, thinking about that, going right back to the beginning, how did the young Robert Dowd really get into ice hockey? Was it through your brothers, or was it even before that?
Aye. Well, to be honest, Billingham, I don't know how many people have been to Billingham, but it's a very small town in the northeast, right by the coast. You can probably drive in and out of it in about 3 minutes if you put your foot down. It's about 2 miles squared. There's one big road that runs through it that way and one big road that runs through it that way. It's a little town, but there's a big leisure centre there with an ice rink, swimming pool, footballs. And like I said, just growing up, my 2 older brothers both got into hockey when they got into it a little later, to be honest. They were probably early teens, they got into it. Where obviously, because they're a lot older than me, I have a big family. They're a lot older than me. I was kind of dragged up round ice rinks, following them everywhere. And obviously, from being knee high, they've got pictures of me in big Jofa helmets and stuff like that, just hanging around the rink, being a rink rat. And that was my mind made up, really. I was going to be a hockey player every time at school. What you're going to be when you grow up, you're going to be this, you're going to be that. And I was adamant that's what I was going to do. So, no, it was a small town. I'd call it a hockey town because for how small the town is, even now they're in the 3rd league. They sell out most games.
Yeah.
They got a big following for how small it was.
I think it's the Billingham Stars, Robert. Is that right?
I still get told off now because when I was there, it was the Bombers.
The Bombers.
It was the Billingham Bombers when I was a young'un. And then it was the Billingham Eagles for a little bit when I was a young'un. And then I left, and then I think they merged it with Sunderland or something happened, and they got changed to the Stars. But when I go back, I still call it Bombers, and I get people telling me it's not Bombers. I'm like, oh, I'm old. Sorry, forgive me.
Yeah, no, I remember it's still home. Bombers.
Aye. Still home, because that was the big misconception when I first went to Sheffield, because I was only a bairn, because I was only a young'un. When I got there, in the paper it was like, young local lad makes it good, and every kind of paper interview I was like, no, I'm from the north, like northeast lads. I'm from Billingham.
It's one thing that we've actually said before the show was a lot of Stars fans that'll listen to this and I'll watch this will be surprised by your accent of being from the north and not Sheffield, because you've been there for years. So a lot of people will be surprised.
When I was a young'un, I left school 16. You don't leave now. You leave at 18 now, don't you? Yeah. When I was younger, you left at 16, and I went to college for 2.5 months. Because my brothers did it. My dad was always like, get a trade behind you, because if it doesn't work out, you got a trade behind you. You can do something. So I went to college to be a sparky. And then I went away with Team England under 17s or 18s, and I got scouted while I was away. So I come in from college one day, and my dad was like, right, do you want to finish off your college, or do you want to go and play hockey in Florida, the one you go and play over there? I was like, wait a minute, Dad. Do I want to go to college in Hartlepool, or do I want to go and live in Florida? So I ended up I went to Florida. And then I had a great time there. And then when I come back, I was only young, because I went to Florida when I was 16, 17. So when I come back, I almost signed in Newcastle, but they were like, well, we're not going to pay you. You can come sign for us, but we're not going to pay you. And to be honest, my dad wouldn't let me go to the top league, because I had a couple of teams from the top league. I had Newcastle, Basingstoke, and it might have been Edinburgh, all reach out when I come back in the country. And my old man was like, you're not going to go and sit on the bench. Said, if you go and sit on the bench, you'll waste away and out. You'll get put into a grinder's role. You'll never get out of it. So he's like, I want you to go into the league below, because it was the EPL at the time. He said, I want you to play hockey. I want you to play 40 minutes a night. So then we kind of touted me around a few places in the EPL, and then Sheffield offered me a whopping, I think it was about 100 quid a week I got. It about covered my beer money and my petrol money, and that was it. They stuck me in a house with a couple of imports. And I lived the dream as a young'un. I was living, playing hockey.
Days,
Yeah, we get paid on a Tuesday. It'd come to about Thursday, and I'd had an out left. I went out with the boys for a couple of nights. I had a couple of meals, and then I was like, I'd be calling my old man like on the weekend, can you bring me some beans and pasta and some chicken down, please? Well, so I was from Sheffield from 18, 19. I played in the EPL. And the big pull for Sheffield for me when I was younger is they said I could train with the Steelers while I was playing in the EPL side. So I could train every day instead of just twice a week with the rest of the boys. So I got to train every day, and then obviously play the weekends with the Scimitars. And then if there was a free weekend, I'd play for the Steelers. So I dotted a couple of games here and there for the Steelers.
Yeah. What was, you said that you were at the Scimitars playing EPL. When you got that call up to the Steelers, what was that? What was the call up? What was the difference in levels when you suddenly stepped up from EPL?
Oh, it was massive. When you were young and stuff like that. Yeah, when you were young and stuff like that, it was a big jump. But when I was young, I was full of confidence. I was a cocky little shit, to be honest.
Yeah.
Nothing's changed.
Yeah, no, not really, no.
Just an older cocky shit now.
I'm just an old cocky shit now instead of young cocky shit.
Yeah.
But when I played 1 year for the Scimitars, and the Steelers offered me a place, to be honest, after that first year. But luckily, my old man, because he'd been there with my brothers, went in and said, well, where's he going to be? Because it was only 3 lines back then. He said, is he going to be in your top 9 or is he going to be a spare? And they said, well, he'll be your 10th forward and he can work his way in. And my dad was like, no, not signing it. So I went and played in the EPL again for another year. And then when it come round, it was like, is he going to be in your top 9? And I went, yeah, he'll be on the 3rd line. And then that year, I had a great year. I ended up on a line. At first, they put me on the 3rd line, but I did well. I ended up playing with Ashley Tate and Jason Hewitt on the line by the end of the year. I was playing on the 2nd line, and we had a great year for points and stuff like that. And then rest is history. I scored a few goals against Nottingham, and that was it. I had a contract for life in Sheffield. I scored an hat-trick against Nottingham as like an 18-year-old, and they were like, that's it, sign him up forever. And I was like, oh, okay, sounds good.
Yeah. And then you actually had a season in Belfast.
Aye.
How did that come about then?
What it was, I wanted to play in Europe. Once I'd played 1 or 2 years in Britain, my aim was I wanted to go to Europe and play hockey, because I was getting tastes of it, going away with GB. GB happened a similar time as when I first started playing for the Steelers, when I was just playing up a few games. One of those games I played was against Coventry, and Coventry at the time, Paul Thompson was the coach of Coventry and GB. And it might have been 4 or 5 games on my 2nd season. We played against Coventry, and I ended up having a night. I played about 4 or 5 shifts, but I managed to score a goal and get an assist. So then I got a phone call that night from Paul Thompson, like, right, I want you to come to GB camp. So I managed to play, obviously, a few years GB, and going away and playing in Europe. I thought I could play at this level. Like, I wanted to go and see a bit of the world and play in Europe. And with Sheffield, because I'd been there 4 or 5 years, it was going a little bit stale. And there was a big change in coaching and ownership, and everything was going on in Sheffield. And Belfast kind of got in my ear and was like, we want you to come here. We don't want you to stay here. We want you here for a year, and we'll get you to Europe. We'll help you. We'll tout you around and help you get to Europe. It was Dougie Christensen had gone from Edinburgh, gone to Belfast. He got in my ear and was like, I want to bring you here, but I don't want to keep you here. I want to help you progress and get away. So I was like, that's what I want to do. I want to get away. So I ended up jumping over to Belfast, and then from there I went to Sweden.
So when you went to Belfast, and we
Aye.
joked on it earlier on, every time you're on social media and Sheffield fans talk about you, you've got this golden boy, the golden child image that seems to go. How did they
So
feel about their golden child going to Belfast?
not great. Normally, whenever you might have been there, if somebody from Sheffield has left and they go to another club, their first game back, they always get welcomed back. So there's always, oh, welcome back, so and so to the arena, and everybody claps. I didn't even get welcomed back. I think and then when my name got called, I think I scored a goal. It was boos rang around the arena, and I was a proper black sheep. People weren't
Wow.
speaking to me. I was like, oh God, people I'd spoke to for years, and I was just like, at the end of the day, it's our job, our livelihood, and I wanted to go and play in Europe, and I thought at the
Yeah.
time that was my best route to get there. It
Yeah.
wasn't anything against Sheffield, obviously. I'm back here. It's home now, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm from the northeast, and I'll never not say that's where I'm from. I'm from the northeast, but my kids have got a Yorkshire accent. It's one thing I always said when I met the missus. I was like, "We'll be moving back home. They won't be talking like you." I'm still here. I've got a Yorkshire accent. It's home now. Sheffield's home. I think once I retire, I don't think I'll move back north. I think we'll be here. Kids are settled in school, and wife's happy because she's close to her family. I moved away from my family when I was 16. I'm used to being away.
Yeah, yeah. Because we had something similar, didn't we, Junior, with John Dolan?
Yeah.
I think you probably remember Robert. John left,
Aye,
obviously, Dundee and went to Fife. And he
aye,
went to Fife, I think it was for one season. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
I think you maybe got a lot tighter than what John did. You know, there was a
yeah,
lot of upset that John had left to go to Fife. I
yeah,
think John scored against Dundee, but what we noticed was he never celebrated. He just,
yeah,
the puck went in and he just stopped and just stood. And it was
yeah,
like, at that point, you sort of really seen, this is a job. This is a
Yeah.
job for me. I've signed for Fife. I've got to do a job. And then within the next season,
aye,
he was back again.
yeah,
Yeah. But
yeah. Well, it was awkward solely because it was Belfast and Sheffield going for the league title.
Mm-hmm.
My first time back, I scored a goal. I had a good year that year. First time back, I scored a goal. Then it come to the last weekend of the season, I think, and it was Belfast double header against Sheffield. And I scored in the first night to kind of win the title for Belfast. And when a game's on the line like that, emotions are going. You celebrate. You'll probably realise I celebrate every goal like it's my last. I had a friend, a close friend, say it to me one time, and he's like, celebrate every goal because I scored a nice goal. I didn't do anything, just tap gloves. You know what you doing? I was like, what? He was like, celebrate every goal like it's your last. He said, you could go out there, blow a knee out, and never play again.
that's
The
it.
last goal you scored, you didn't even make a smile. It's like, what are you doing? And it struck home with me a little bit. I
Yeah.
enjoy scoring goals and making a difference and helping your team out, and it kind of stuck with me. And I was like, yeah, when you score, celebrate a little.
Yeah.
So I did, but it was against Sheffield, and I got a bit of slack for it.
Love it. Love it. That's my kind of player. Doesn't matter
Aye,
who you're playing for, who you used to play for. If you
no,
score, you celebrate.
it's
It's
part of
like
the
at
game.
football. You see these
Aye,
football players that don't celebrate. No,
yeah, yeah,
celebrate. This
yeah,
club is now paying your wages. You play for that club, you celebrate.
yeah.
And as you say, a hockey career could be a short career.
Very short.
Yeah, yeah. You went to Sweden
Aye,
and you signed for IF Troja, which is another link with us because the Stars have just signed a new netminder from IF Troja, a guy
right,
called
okay.
Brendan Svensson. How did that move come around? And what was life? You've obviously said you've been away from the UK or at Florida. What was it like living in Sweden?
You know what? Really enjoyed myself. Troya Youngby. Youngby's the town. Troya Youngby. It's a small town. I wasn't quite ready for that. It was a bit of a culture shock because I'm from a small town, but this was a very small town. The hockey was outstanding. It was super fast, and I was all excited to get away. And the way it came about, I don't know if you've been looking on Elite Prospects. I had a World Championships that year, and I had a good year in Belfast, full of confidence, playing well. And I went to the World Championships, and I had a really good World Championships. In I don't know the points exactly, but I had a good one. And after my last game, I went back to the hotel, and as I was walking back, I got pulled up by an agent, and then I had another agent waiting for me in the hotel, and I got offers in Austria, Germany too, and then Sweden knocked as well. And I was just a young, I didn't know, I just wanted to go to Europe. I had no idea. And I had a couple of boys in the team, like, go to Sweden. Like, Sweden's the proper hockey country, da 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 da. So off I went. So I ended up signing the contract, off we went. It was a bit of a culture shock because I'd been living in Sheffield for 5, 6 years, then Belfast, all big cities, everything going on. We pulled up at this place, and they've got a new rink now, but at the time, a little old rink, proper old school, all standing, concrete, cold. And ice hockey, everyone was fast, strong. It wasn't as, what's the right word? Not structured, but it was so young, the league. It was like 1,000 miles an hour running into somebody, 1,000 miles an hour running into someone, 1,000 miles. There wasn't much structure and slowed down pace to it, where the league above in the elites here and there's the 1,000 miles an hour, but it's a bit more structured and free flowing hockey, where it was a bit stop starts. But we enjoyed ourselves, me and my wife. But like I said, it was a culture shock. The town had little coffee shop, hotel, supermarket, and that was kind of it. And if you wanted to go out for a beer, you'd go to the hotel. If you wanted to go out for a meal, you'd go to the hotel.
Right.
If you wanted a coffee, you'd go to the hotel.
Yeah.
So it was a bit like, oh. So the missus was going a bit out of her mind, to be honest, bless her, because the nearest town if you wanted to go shopping or have a little walk around, it was Vecqua, which is about 45, 50 minutes drive away down the motorway.
Yeah.
So there wasn't much going down. So I left one time to go to, I think it was Japan with GB, and I come back. She was kind of almost rocking in the car, and I was like, all right, honey. And she was like, I haven't spoke to another human for 10 days when you've been away. I was like, oh, thank God. So I thought a great idea. I was like, let's get a dog. Yeah, best friend for life. So we've got a dog that we bought from Sweden.
Oh, tremendous.
Yeah,
Obviously,
I didn't know what to say. I was just like, let's get a dog.
We've signed a few guys from the Hockey Allsvenskan. I think that's how you say it.
That's it.
I think the standard of that league's always gotten better from when you were in it.
Yeah.
But how would you compare that league to the elite league? There's some, what fan bases are like.
It is super fast. Whoever you've signed from there will be a good skater. Like the team I was on, we weren't a top of the table team. We were very mid range, but everybody could fly. I remember getting there, and that's one thing I've always thought I could do. I've slowed down a little bit as I've got older, but when I was younger, I think my main attribute was I was fast and good. And I got there. Normally, obviously, over here, you've got your top couple of lines, and then your skating sometimes drops off a little bit. You got over there, and they had 4 or 5 lines on practice, and every single person was flying. And I was like, holy smokes. Normally in the skating drills, I try and come first every time. I was middle to the back of the pack when I got there. Oh, God, I got to work on some stuff. So most guys, if you've signed any guys from there, I imagine they'll be able to fly. It's fast. Like I said, it's not as free-flowing. I think the Elite League is a little more free-flowing hockey, where it's very almost structured, and your wingers are up, down, chip, bump, get off, up, down, chip, bump, get off. Where there's a little more free-flowing to the Elite League, but the speed over there is rapid.
Yeah, and it's encouraging to hear that, because obviously, as I said, you know what fan bases can be like when you sign guys and they look at elite prospects, and you see obviously the guy we just signed. I think he had 10 points in 50 odd games last season, and it's
just about to say it's not a high scoring league at all. I didn't have much there. How much? I had 25 points in 40 games or something like that. And I think I was the second top point scorer in our team. I was out for a little bit of the year, busted my hand up while I was there, but it's not a big scoring league at all. I'd take those stats if you're getting a guy from the Allsvenskan with a little pinch of salt, because unless you're on
That's
one of the
encouraging.
top teams, there's not many points scored.
Yeah, encouraging to hear that, because say, fan bases are a bit worried when you see stats on paper that aren't high, and you're like, what are we actually getting? Are we getting a grinder? Or
when they look, elite prospects can be deceiving, because some of the best players I've played with come over here, and you looked at their elite prospects and it was very underwhelming. And then you sometimes look at elite prospects and you bring a guy over and you think, oh my God, he's going to be a world beater.
Well, the classic example for us was Sebastian Bengtsson last season. His point production in that league was very poor, but then top 5 points last season, I think it was. It's crazy what you can put up. So yeah. But obviously you went from Sweden, you kind of came back into Sheffield and stuff, and then COVID hit a couple of years ago. Italy, just
beautiful
to keep it ticking over. How was that?
Italy, it was amazing for me, to be honest, solely because the year before that, I'd blown my shoulder out. I got tripped, slid into the boards, and AC joint exploded. So they needed to put me back together with screws and wire. And I was just coming back. COVID hit. It just gave me time to rest, get it back properly. And then I was about to sign back in the Allsvenskan. I was speaking to an agent. I'd pretty much almost signed. We'd agreed on everything to go on the Allsvenskan. And then Marco Vallerand, who I played with in Sheffield, called me up and just said, I'm heading to Italy. They want another forward. They've asked if you're available. What do you think? And I kind of weighed it up and I thought, well, I'm not going away to try and stay away like I was before. I'm going away to literally tick over. So I thought, well, am I going to go back to the Allsvenskan where it's going to be fast and I'm going to get hit every single time I get the puck? I'm going to go to Italy where the league's a bit of a step down from the Allsvenskan, but I can look after myself, get better, and I'm going to have a buddy instantly out there already with Valorant. So it was a no-brainer, and we went out there and we had a great time. The organisation over there was amazing. Loved my time there. Still speak to the boys now. I still speak to some of the guys on the board, some of the members on the board there. We have a great relationship, and I thoroughly enjoyed my time there. It was amazing. It was proper life experience. What a beautiful country.
Yeah. No. But then obviously come back. COVID finished. Back in Steelers colours. Listen, we love to give you Steelers at tight. Like it's part and parcel of the game. It's Sheffield. We need to give you it.
Of course you do. I like our seniors wearing orange today, though. He's a secret Steeler, isn't he?
Robert, you know what? I'll be honest with you, I've actually changed it because the T-shirt that I had on when I come home from work was pure orange. And I thought, I cannot come on this podcast in a bright orange T-shirt.
He's a secret Steeler. Just letting everybody know on the podcast.
I've been getting this so tight because I've managed to get you on this, and if I turned up with an orange T-shirt on, that would be it. That would be it.
I did try my best. I messaged Jordan Cowney during the week asking if he had I potentially have one of his Nottingham tops from when he played that season in Nottingham, and I was going to wear it if I could get one, but no one had one around here, so you're lucky. But yeah, given it a bit tight, we're going to have to bring up last season.
We have to.
So obviously, we seem to be a bit of a bogey team for Steelers.
Massively. You had our number all year. It happens every year. There's just one team you don't match up well against.
Yeah.
And we did not match up well against you boys. It wasn't just the playoffs. I don't know what our record was through the season. I don't think we're on the winning. I don't think we're on the winning. All right, I bet you do.
To be fair, you were 3-1 up going towards the end of the season, and it finished 5-3 in games for Stars. So it was clear, we always say you always get that one bogey team. For us, it always seems to be Fife in recent years. Fife's always been our bogey team in the last few years, and that's the last one.
And that hurts because it's not a million miles away.
Yeah, exactly. But the playoff games. I know we don't need to touch on it, but we want to.
Yeah, of course you do.
How what was going on in the locker room? You know, when you guys are 3-0 up and 3-1 on aggregate in the second leg, and we score just before the end of the second period. You know, what's going through the mind, and then what happened on the bench just when we started kind of clicking in that third period?
For me, honestly, everyone was pretty calm, and it was obviously business as usual. When you're trying in games like that, you try and not get too high or too low or too over fussed, if you know what I mean. You just want to keep playing the game, but momentum just swing you boys' way. And then once you kind of got momentum, we were scrambling. We were scrambling, and even when we almost clawed it back right at the end of the Valley, it just you blocked everything, you hit everything, and it was one of those. When it went in, it was like a kick to the dick.
Yeah, when we came back up the road, 1-0 up, you know, we're thinking, no, the game's going on and on and on at 0-0, and then Sebi pops up 1-0, and we're thinking, God, this is massive for us, because usually, and we've said it on the previous shows, you guys usually take the home leg second.
Yeah.
You know, you usually take that away leg first. Hopefully, you know, see what you can get on the board.
You scrape out the away leg with a tie, or if you one up or something, then you take it home, don't you?
And when you go 3-0 up, I'm sitting there, and I said it to Charlie Combs a couple of weeks ago. I was going, this is done. You know, this is just typical Stars luck of we're in a great position. We did it in Cardiff a few years back, 4-2 up. We come back and we get beat on home ice, and then, you know, just whatever happens. And the last thing I remember saying before the empty netter went in was, someone watch Valorant.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, come on, someone's there. But yeah, it's what was it like as a player, you know, in an away rink? You know, usually Dundee, you know, we try to make it as loud as we can, you know, but you know, attendances aren't massive.
To come there. It's a pain in the ass.
But
you got you loudons behind the bench. Every time something happens, someone's chirping in your ear, and you're like, "Oh, leave us alone, man. Piss off, piss off." It's you know what? Your place and Coventry are quite similar in there's a few people right behind your logo.
Yes.
But if something happens, there's someone in your ear, and you're like, I'm used to it now, so I laugh at people. I've been getting it for almost 15 years now, so now I laugh. People shout at me all, and I just giggle because it's funny. Some of the stuff people say when you're not actually, if you're not wound up, when people say some stuff, it is actually quite funny what they say. I don't know who it was. I don't know, you boys. How many years ago was it? It was about 3-4 years ago. We had a guy called Tyler Mossienko, and used to score goals for fun. And he got hit by our bench, and his helmet popped off and dropped to the ice. And as he was skating back to the bench, it was in perfect sync. There's about 3 years, jumped up, and it was like, you LGY, you ain't got no helmet, you ugly.
Yep.
And
every time.
There was about 4 of us on the bench crying, laughing. So stuff like that. It's funny. Like some guys take it to heart, and I'm like, well, that's funny. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
But we've seen it over the years with yourself that, you know, you've went from that being pissed off at someone shouting at you, but now it's just the whole, you know what, it is what it is, you know, just laugh it off.
It's funny, it is what it is. You're having a laugh. You're not going to meet me outside and try and scrap with us. Like it's an hockey game. You're coming to give me a bit of shit and then go and have a couple of beers. Do you know what I mean?
Senior's been close a couple of times. He's been close a couple of times.
Wasn't it last year? Someone tried to fight someone from Cardiff or something like that.
It was McNally. Yeah, it was McNally. Your new teammate.
We've got him this year as well. We've just announced him. So we'll be scrapping you this year when we're getting off.
So, Dowdy, don't worry. You will not be picked on next season because McNally will be there. And I think the whole of Dundee hates him.
You'll leave me alone then, that's fine. But yeah, it's one of those, like, as I've got older, when I was younger, I used to get, what's that guy saying? Fuck that guy. Do you know what I mean? But now,
Yeah.
you get it all the time. It's same in Nottingham. Whenever you go to a penalty box, there's a few in the cheap seats behind the penalty box who always try and give it to you. It's funny.
And we've always said that, you know, we did it with Simon Leach for years. Even big Chris Conboy and stuff and Nickerson. You give them shit the entire game. As soon as the buzzer goes, you know, we used to obviously stand down at the cafe after games when the car park emptying. You know, you'd say hi to them. You know, oh, you know, good game, well played. You know, it's done.
It's a
and
game.
that's the one thing about Dundee. I've always said that is, no matter how much shit that we give you, it does finish at the buzzer. Unless you start a bench clearance at the end of the game, like you did a few years back when the goalie hit a fan in the face with his blocker coming off the ice.
Who?
De Caro, yeah.
De Caro. Remember when John came off the ice and he blocked him?
Was I in Sweden or Belfast that year?
Possibly. Yeah, he came, there was a bench clearance at the end of the Challenge Cup first leg, and he came off the ice. And it was a kid. I knew he was still at school because I was teaching basketball, and this kid's leaning over the barrier giving him shit, and he just swung his blocker right in the face. Next minute, police are up. Security's got the young lad in the office at the front. It was tremendous.
Shouldn't have been standing there.
Exactly.
Well,
shouldn't have been so close.
That's why they've pushed the railing back that little bit.
Sometimes I remember it happened a few years ago where someone was giving someone some shit as he was getting off the ice. Was it Nickerson or it was somebody? They're getting off the ice in Guildford and someone ran down and got in their face.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, we're human beings. If someone's going to come and run at you, you're just going to defend yourself.
Defend yourself.
Aye, of course you are.
Yeah. I'm the same with that. You know, where we sit, and we've actually had people complain, right? So we're sitting giving you shit.
Aye.
And you turn round, you scoot your water bottle, or you swear back at us, and it's right, security, 75, he's swearing at us.
For fuck's sake.
You've just called him a dick.
God,
but that's okay.
Aye. Yeah, we're humans at the end of the day. We make stupid mistakes. We do. You bite, and then sometimes after you've bit, you're like, oh, why did I do that?
Yeah. So, but yeah, just as we're speaking, we've got a little bit more breaking news. Again, this is twice it's happened for us now. So Stars have just announced the next signing, and the guy that you were speaking about before, Senior, that Romans Semyonovs. I think he's coming from hockey.
Is that the correct pronunciation there?
It is.
Roman
Semyonovs. As good as you get.
You've been practicing. Practicing the mirror before they started, weren't you?
I know.
Roman Semyonovs.
Yeah,
so
I think this is the guy that's come from
Swede
the same
Latvian.
team as the goalie.
Again, I think he's coming from the Hockey Allsvenskan as well.
Allsvenskan. Oh, so yeah, you signed some boys from there. You'll be quick then.
Yeah. So yeah, but yeah, just another sign for us. 2 to go.
I think have we announced everybody yet? I don't know. I think we're pretty much signed up.
We don't really care about you lot, to be honest.
Aye.
You announced, did you not?
I do a little bit. I do a wee bit.
Yeah, I think you guys announced 3 this morning. McNally was one of them.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes.
I'm glad we did then.
The Moonhowler.
I didn't know if I bust a secret then after I said it. I thought, have we announced it?
No, we knew.
Shit.
Yeah.
We think it was announced anyway. If not, this won't go out to the weekend anyway, so you're fine.
Imagine.
It was announced. It was announced.
If it's not, I'll hold off on editing and releasing until it's announced. We're okay.
We had Kyle Haas on the show last week, 2 weeks ago, something like that. And he was full of praise for yourself.
Is he back?
He was, actually.
No, he's not back. No,
is he not back? He was good for you boys. At the start of the year, he was taking a couple too many penalties, but he figured it out. Like he played hard. He was obviously tough. He was tough as nails. Played hard, but by the end of the year, he was in a lot of teams' heads.
Yeah,
he was a good player, man. Really good player.
he's got a job out with hockey at the moment.
Right.
In Edmonton, he got the job through Justin Farina.
Yeah.
So he's quite friendly with Justin. He's the job that he's got. Sorry, he's on probation until September, end of September, and then he's going to take it from there. So he might be back.
So hopefully he does amazing in this job, and we never see him again.
He'll be
Fingers
shit.
crossed. Fingers crossed.
Hope he fails a probation.
Yeah. Well, one thing he did say.
No, he was really respectful of me. Obviously, at the start of the year, because of the way I play, we bumped into each other a few times, and we got under each other's skin. But we was pretty respectful. There was no cheap shots. Like, I thought he was great for us. Thought he was really good.
And he actually reciprocated that, because he said there was one game, I think you took a shot right on the buzzer and it hit him. He blocked the shot, and he says, because we told him you were coming on the show, and he says, what a guy. He says, he took the shot, I blocked it, I was down, and he says he was right across.
Because it was literally, he said
the same.
It was right on the buzzer, and I went to rip one. I think I got him right in the ankle or something like that. But it was a bit late. Do you know what I mean? I wasn't ready for the buzzer. I wasn't looking at the clock. So I'd already kind of followed through with my swing. And then the buzzer went, and then I ripped one right off his ankle. I thought, that's a bit shit. Sorry, mate. Like, you're all right. And you know what he's like? He hopped up and he's like, yeah, it's fine. And I was thinking, that's not fine. That fucking hurts, that. I know. I know. I'd have shot that. That hurt.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, he was good. He was good for you boys. I thought he made a big difference.
Speaking of one of your home games from last season, a few people asked me to bring this up. I wasn't going to, but I'm going to have to ask about it now. What happened with you and Sonch? Why did you pick on the smallest guy on the ice?
Have you watched the tape? I didn't pick on him. He picked on me. The puck is gone. I try to back check. We're in your ends. The puck comes out, and I'm trying to back check, and he cross checks me, and I go like, "Fuck off, leave us alone." And then he cross checks me again and goes, "Let's go." And I was like,
"Oh, okay."
Okay.
That's surprising because Phil's not that type of player. Like, he gets under your skin, like yourself.
Obviously, those games when we played you all year, because it was tight games every time, they got heated. And I was trying to back check, and he was giving it to me. So
there we go.
And so my head popped. I was obviously, I don't know if we were losing at the time or it was close, and I think I'd just missed a chance or something like that. So I was frustrated. He grabs hold of me, gives me a couple of shots. So I was like, all right, yeah, okay, let's go.
But that's surprising. That
we were laughing about it, to be honest. I think it was a game or two afterwards, because I don't know if I just broke the scoring records, and he come to me on a face-off and kind of slashed me on the list, and he was like, it's hilarious. He said, I've had a fight with a legend. And I was like,
oh, brilliant.
Yeah.
So,
no, again, that was just, it come from nothing. I think we were both just frustrated.
Yeah.
I was trying to get away from him. We got tangled up. I don't know if it was sticks or skates or something. We ended up punching each other.
Yeah. So probably just to finish on it, we've talked club, we've talked different countries. The GB career.
Aye.
It's been a long one. Plenty games, plenty goals. You've played in some fantastic tournaments and against some top players. What's been your favourite memory with GB?
Oh, see, that's tough, because some of the last couple of years in those top divisions are special. Like when you're playing some of those players, in the moment you don't get it, but obviously when I tell my young'un and stuff like that, when he'd call me and I'd say, "Oh yeah, I was playing against Patrick Kane today," or stuff like that. That's cool. But it's tough to say one. Top of my head, gun to my head, when we won gold to go to the top pool, because we went to that tournament trying to stay in that division. So we went there, and all of our talks and we get handouts and stuff with systems on it was like, we belong here. So our goal was to belong in that pool. Do you know what I mean? Like, it was like, right, we belong in this pool. Because we'd done it for so many years. Obviously, I'd been there a while. We'd bounce up, we'd bounce down, we'd bounce up, we'd bounce down. We'd play some of those teams, and those teams we went to play that year. In our heads, obviously, we were really playing up to stay in that division. You had Slovenia, Kazakhstan, Hungary, all Slovenia. Obviously, they've got the NHLers and they've got all the DEL players. Kazakhstan is all KHL. It's a full KHL team, pretty much, is Kazakhstan. So we were going there to try and steal a couple of wins and stay in that pool. And then obviously, you win a couple of games. We beat Slovenia. I think it was the first game. It was like, holy shit, where did that come from? And then we beat someone else. Who else did we beat? Beat someone else. And then our next game was Kazakhstan, and we were flying high, like we can win everyone. And then we got stomped, like 6-0 or something by Kazakhstan. It was like, oh, there it is. Like, that's kind of what we're expecting, like games like that. But it was one of those tournaments where everybody beat everybody. So it was coming down to it, and it was like, hold on a minute, we just need to draw, and we're going to be playing in the top pool next year. And it was just mind-boggling. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we scored a goal. We were getting beat 2-0.
Yep.
I managed to put one in, and then we pulled the goalie, and we managed to put one in with seconds to go to take it to overtime to tie.
I think it was Farmer, wasn't it?
I think it was Robert
Farms. And the whole stadium. What was cool about there, obviously, people didn't, unless you were there, it was like a 15,000 seater stadium, and it was obviously packed to the rafters, sold out, all Hungarian fans, and they'd all like link arms and bounce at the same time. I don't know what they were, ooh. And literally you'd sit on the bench and you were bouncing up and down because the whole stadium, it was, what an atmosphere.
Yeah.
But you could almost hear a pin drop when that second goal went in. And there was about 50 to 100 GB fans in the actual nosebleeds as high as you could see. And you could kind of just hear like a, like from the nosebleeds when you couldn't hear yourself think a second ago. Just that transition and that feeling of like, oh my God, what have we just done? Knowing that we were going to go and play people who are our idols pretty much my whole life. I've played against some guys now. I've had conversations in the gym where I'd just been with like Krejci, like, one of the greatest NHL players ever.
Yeah.
And I was in the gym with him, like chatting for 5 minutes last tournament I was at. It was just like different worlds.
Do you still get that, before the tournament or when you're kind of standing in the warm-ups to that thinking, shit, that's fucking Patrick Kane over there, or that's David Krejci standing in front of me, like?
The first time we went there, yes. And I don't think we had a good showing of ourselves because we were literally in awe. Like the first tournament in Slovakia, every game was like, oh my God, look who that is. Oh my God, look who that is. Do you know what I mean? It was so overwhelming, and obviously it was amazing to stay up. We beat that France team, which they'd not been relegated in, I don't know how many, 10 years or something silly like that. Like to beat them was massive. But those other games, I don't think it was our best showing because I can admit that I was in awe of like some of the guys we were playing against, where I think obviously the tournament after that and the tournament just gone, I know it didn't go our way, but we were in every game pretty much. We were in the game against US. We were in every single game, because I think the last couple we weren't in awe anymore. We were like, right, let's show them we belong here. Let's not just come out here and kind of doodle around and be amazed who we're playing. Let's go and hit somebody. Let's go and try and pop a couple of goals.
That's it. And it must be a great feeling for you. When you're telling your, as you say, when you tell your kids who you are playing against, it must be. It's a buzz for you, but it must be so much of a buzz for them.
Yeah, my little one, he thinks it's so cool. It's been a nice, obviously, being able to bring my little ones through, and my oldest one, Oscar, he thinks he's a VIP in Sheffield now because all the security guards know him and stuff like that. So there'll be like waves of people waiting in line to go in, and he just walks through everybody now. And like the security guards go, Oscar, like let's him through the rope and everything. Like, oh, he thinks he's the boy now. But being able to grow up and have him in the changing rooms, you know, after a weekend, if we've got a Sunday game, if we've won, if we've lost, he's not allowed in the room. There's some sour people. But if we win, he comes in and gives all the boys fist bumps, and then he'll hang around and kick a ball around with the boys afterwards when they're cooling down.
Yeah.
To bring him up in an atmosphere like that, that's really cool.
Yeah. That'll be the new golden child.
Aye. Well, you say that. No, he's football now. He was playing hockey, but his football's took off. He's doing really well, and he got picked up by a team, and he's training a few times a week now and playing, and it's starting to clash with the hockey. So I said to him, I was like, kiddo, it's up to you. I'm not going to force you one way or the other. What do you want to do? He was like, well, can I do football for now, Daddy, and see? And I was like, sure, why not?
Yeah. See how it goes,
So we'll see. I'm not
Well,
going to follow it.
we'll remember the name, just in case.
Yeah.
Either way,
Just in case.
football or hockey.
Yeah.
But
So I think that's me done.
Aye.
I'm sitting.
Okay.
I'm sitting here like Robert Dowd looks at Patrick Kane. Right. I'm just sitting here.
Stop it, senior. Stop it. You've called me a dickhead more times than I know what to do with from the seats behind us. So don't be chatting that.
Honestly, Dowdy, you should hear it every time you're coming up. Oh, we'll get to see Dowdy this weekend. Oh, for fuck's sake, really? It's probably the only player from another team that he actually enjoys watching and
tolerates.
Come up,
That he actually
tolerates. Yeah,
there
we'll
you
say
go.
tolerates. But yeah, no, from both of us, obviously, thank you very much for coming on.
No bother at all, boys. No bother whatsoever.
Privilege to have you on the show. No doubt we'll get some Steelers fans viewing this as well. So what's your obviously it's a Stars-based thing, but what's your kind of message for Steelers fans in the forthcoming season?
Yeah, we're trying to go one better this year, and obviously for the Stars fans, thanks for giving me the shit, and I'll see you this year, and hopefully I'm on the right side of it this year. Honestly, both sets of fans, what they did for Martin Latal and everything like that, that was awesome. That was awesome last year. Thank you very much. It was really appreciated, and obviously we all love hockey, don't we? So
yeah, that's it.
I'll see you on the other side.
Yeah. So again, thank you again for coming on. We've got two more players, two former Stars players lined up for coming on the show. We've got Eldoro Loco, Mr. Dorwich, on Mountain Time next weekend, I think, and obviously looking to get my hockey friend on in Cam McGiffin in a couple of weeks as well. So yeah, so for this episode, thanks again for listening, and again, Dowdy, thank you very much for coming on.
Thanks, boys, appreciate it.
That's great. Thanks very much, Robert. All the best for the season, apart from when you play us, obviously.
Yeah. Oh,
Brilliant.
Can I throw out there, senior?
Yes.
I want you down for my testimonial when I have my testimonial this year.
No worries. You send me the details. We'll be there. We'll come down.
Yeah. And just for you, I'll charge you full price.
Could you not charge us double, please?
See this.
Thanks,
I hope
guys.
this
Thanks
is a VIP invitation here.
You're shocking. You've got to be kidding, right? You've got to remember he plays in Sheffield, which is Yorkshire. They are worse than the Scottish for money, I'll tell you.
He is.
But again, thanks for listening, folks, and we'll see you again next week.
Thank you. Cheers.